Hello, my name is Kate Arsenault, and this is my YouTube video for my learning contract item number 10. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Skype. First, I'm going to give you a quick background on Skype, then about how this new technology has changed society, and finally how Skype has affected me personally. I found my information on the Skype website and from a Time magazine article titled A Brief History of Skype by Doug Amoth. So first, a quick background on Skype. Before Skype, there was Kazaa. Kazaa was a peer-to-peer file sharing network that was being used in the early 2000s around the time Napster was being shut down, and Kazaa allowed people to send and share music files, videos, and programs. But a quick understanding about how peer-to-peer file sharing network works. Anyone who is on the network is connected to everyone else on the network, and there's no central server holding any of the files. So the more people who are on the network and have the same files, the faster the network will work and more reliable. But in early 2003, the creators of Kazaa sold their business to Sharman Networks, who built Skype. And Skype was built on the same peer-to-peer network idea, but it applied it to the voice transmission instead. And the thought was that the more people that used this reliable network, it would be more reliable for everyone. So Skype allowed people to make voice calls from their computer to anyone in the world for free. This meant that even people in the middle of nowhere, as long as they had Skype, could make and receive calls. And this also meant that you could call someone in another country for free of charge. And this brings me to my second point about how Skype has changed society. So Skype eventually started to charge its users who wanted to make and receive calls from regular telephone numbers. Even though users were being charged for these incoming calls from Skype, it was cheap, like pennies to the dollar, compared to what other people were charging or what other companies were charging for long-distance and international calls. So if you pay a little bit with Skype, you can do a lot more, but the video chatting from user to user was still free for anyone in the world. And according to Time magazine, Skype was a disruptive technology. A disruptive technology helps create a new market and a value network, and eventually disrupts the existing market and value network, displacing an earlier technology. So Skype took phone service and applied a new technology to it, and made phone service more affordable, and the users didn't mind that they had to make these phone calls from their computer. But now that mobile phone technology has improved, Skype is starting to make its way into that space as well. There was actually just a few years ago, Microsoft bought Skype for $8.5 billion, and this was a good move for Skype and Microsoft, because Microsoft is able to integrate the Skype into most of their products, thus not making customers choose who they're going to use, either Microsoft or Skype, but they can use them both. So Skype has around 7 million users, and now Microsoft has a direct line of communication with them. And so here's a quick example about how Skype is changing different professional industries. And I found this example in an article posted by the New York Times just 6 days ago. So one night a mom's face turns puffy, and she thinks she might have a sinus infection. So she knows she's too busy with her family to go to the doctor, so she hopped online and entered a request for a virtual consultation on Skype. So she typed in her symptoms and her credit card number, and within minutes, a doctor had appeared on her screen. He asked her a few questions, and he took a look at her and was able to phone in a prescription for a sinus infection to her local pharmacy. Many healthcare professionals feel that offering these video consultations for routine ailments will save money and relieve a lot of pressure on the primary healthcare system in cities and rural areas. And lastly, I'm going to talk about how Skype has affected my life. My uncle has never lived in the United States for my 22 years of life. He's lived in Africa, Cambodia, and even Afghanistan. So our talks have always been through postcards and short conversations on holidays due to crazy long-distance phone charges. But just a few years ago, he got married to a Norwegian woman, and they had a baby, and we started to use Skype. And Skype is so easy that even my 73-year-old grandparents can use it. And Skype has allowed my family to form a connection with my new cousin daily, and they get to see her grow up. And even though she can't speak, it's the video chatting, which is still free.